Hello there, and welcome to October. This message is headed out to all of my Gemini friends in the world today. I am going to be reading today from the Sacred Earth Oracle, and I'll also be reading from the Wisdom of the Oracle, and then I am going to finalize your reading with the Tarot of 1001 Nights for your detailing. So let's go ahead and get started, Gemini. Let's see where you are. What is your state of being? So I will pull two cards. Actually, I'm not pulling them. I'm just going to cut the cards and see where we end up. And this will let me know what both sides are looking like for you, Gemini. This is the most important of the zodiac to get right as far as their two sides are concerned, you and Pisces. So I'm just going to do a little extra shuffling here, and then we're going to break the cards and see where they end up. So I've got a shift and I've got alliance here. Shift and alliance. So there is a shift going on for those of you who are keeping up with the spiritual nature of things. There is a massive shift happening. The shifts have been happening for years and years and years. We've had a very significant one that has happened, of course, that went along with the coronavirus. So we are shifting. We're all shifting. A part of the shift is for you to be open, for you to be clean, clear, free, and I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, exposed. I know that exposure kind of might give people a little bit of a fright, but what I mean by exposure is being willing to be transparent, to be open, to be willing to share your full self with others, and not being afraid or not being ashamed or not being apologetic about who you are. And then that, of course, brings us to your alliances and your allegiances. Who are you aligned with? Who are the people who appreciate who you are at your core, who are not going to judge you and not going to try to make you be something other than what you are? And I think that that's an important part of choosing your alliances or choosing your allies carefully. So I'm seeing underneath here the buffalo. The buffalo are symbols of wealth. They are also symbols of abundance. They're also protective symbols as well. And then I also see the medicine wheel up here in the top corner that represents health and healing. It represents your connection to the earth and to the sky. And so I feel like those are where the alliances have to happen for you first, Gemini, starting in October, or just period, that the alliances that you want to make are with your earth connections. Make your earth connections. Make sure that you are aligned with nature and aligned with your earth principles. You are an air sign, so you want to make sure that you are aligned with the air principle within yourself. Um, and you also want to see where you are on the wheel, because, and by that I mean the medicine wheel. You want to see where you sit and where there may be any kind of hiccups or barriers or hindrances or anything else like that that may be preventing you from really being where you need to be for the shift. Okay. So the main thing is to check your alliances and also know that you are shifting, you are changing, and it's okay to do so. And however you are, whoever you are, is an important part of the shift that's happening for everyone and also for yourself. Okay. This is not about pretense at all. We're really getting out of that, putting on masks, wearing masks, all of that kind of thing. It's time to be transparent about who you are, and transparent in your dealings. And that's kind of scary for people because we're accustomed to hiding ourselves, both the parts of ourselves that we're ashamed of and that um, we're ashamed of or that we feel judged about. But we're also good at hiding things that are very positive aspects of ourselves too, especially if we don't feel deserving or if we don't fully value ourselves and that kind of thing. So that's just something for you to think about. All right, moving right on to the wisdom of the oracle. I've pulled three cards here to represent where you are right now in your present dealings, and then what has happened in your recent past, and then what's coming up for you. So, right now, you're in a yang period. This is a number one, which means starting fresh. It's putting your best foot forward. It is, again, presenting and sharing the fullness of who you are, your passions, your desires, the good aspects of yourself, and that which is really driving you. This I see as you presenting this and giving this to the world, Gemini, or sharing this to the people that are outside of your little cluster. And so, in the recent past, and this is a number 36, which breaks down to a 9, which tells me that yes, this is something that has recently happened in your world, that you've really been drawn to the edge of who you are. It's really the experiences that you've had have really taken you to your own limits. It's shown you your limitations, but it's also shown you where you can really, where you have been able to really take a leap and stretch yourself and expand yourself much further than what you thought. And that's a part of that medicine wheel that we talked about. That's a part of a healing process for you. If you were feeling like you were boxed in or not able to do that in any way, that this time period that you've just recently gone through in the last month or two, or maybe even in the last 8 months or so, has really been about you finding what inspires you or what moves you or the best parts of who you are. And in order for you to do that, you had to really, really go to some edgy places and really get a hard look at, not just a hard look, but a hard look and a soft look at who you are and where your capabilities are and where your limitations are. So as a result, you've gotten some change here. Remember, this is a 36 breaks down to a 9. So you coming to the edge allowed you to be able to start fresh and present a new face to the world, so to speak. And so coming up is peace, and peace is a change for you. This is represented by the 2 and the 3 in this card, which breaks down to a 5. 5 is both the number of grace and it's also the number of change. It's also the number of chaos, but I'm not seeing this chaos being here because we've got the peace as the card. So to me, the change that you've been looking for was something where you could feel at peace and feel comfortable in your surroundings, comfortable in your environment, and just sated. I think is really what it's all about. So you can expect for October leading into November to be a very satisfying experience for you, because it looks like you have done some homework around your personal experience or around your personals. All right, so we're going to the Tarot of 1001 Nights. So I'll go ahead and start pulling there. We started out the reading with the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords to me is, of course, the swords is the suit of air. It's the suit of the mind. And this is exactly where Gemini is and where Gemini belongs. This is your territory. Under normal circumstances, we think of Gemini energy as being in the king position. But by it being in the queen position, what this tells me is that you've really had an opportunity in that going to the edge experience that you had, that you really had an opportunity to reflect upon your own intelligence, to reflect on what it is that you know, and to really own it, to really embody it, so that it isn't something that's showy or attached to an ego situation, but it's more or less about this very simple resolve about about your own smarts, your own intelligence, what you know, and without question what you know. And so by doing that, I do see a little hermit energy here. So I think you have been Gemini up until this point, kind of closed in or honed in, really being with yourself. But what this does is it really presents a different picture for the people that are around you. And so then here we have that wheel showing up again, just like in the medicine wheel before. We have the wheel showing up again in this reading. The wheel in this reading to me is a moment of self-reflection. It's when you are able to see your own worth in respect to everything else that's going on around you. You're able to really see your own value, which is important. And I think that's also a part of this Queen of Swords energy here. The Queen of Swords is not is no softy. Let's put it that way. For those of you who might feel like I've gotten a little soft in my in time or whatever like that. It's not soft at all. You know, the Queen of Swords is very clear and very discerning. She knows what she's looking at. You can't pull wool over the Queen of Swords eyes. So I think that your knowledge has deepened a bit, and that's going to be good for you. We've got the Ace of Pentacles here. Again, I'm seeing you at peace in your environment. Knowing what makes you feel comfortable, not what somebody else says should feel comfortable for you. It's about you feeling comfortable in your own skin, in your own surroundings, and that's a part of you being able to self-reflect, understand what it is that you're coming to the table with, because you do have a lot to share, Gemini, you do. So we have the Fool here coming up next in with the Zero card. You're embarking on some new territory. I think you feel a little bit, Gemini, like you don't have all your faculties, like you don't have it. You're what? It feels like you're taking the road with one foot and and a cane and all of that kind of stuff. But I feel like that's going to change. I think that once you get beyond this initial phase of change, that you're going to see it very differently. Yep, definitely, because we've got the harmony here. So it may feel like it's still it's not quite where you want it to be yet. You're still stepping out into the great unknown. But I do feel like with this, that there is you feeling comfortable in your environment. And I feel like that's really important right now for you. You being able to feel comfortable in your environment. Eight of Wands, again, I'm seeing that exposure there. I'm seeing you being able to be free and unfettered, unconcerned, unabashedly yourself, not feeling closed in, not feeling like you have to hide anything, good, bad, or indifferent. And I also feel like you're going to also make connections with other people that are like-minded or that have a similar experience. Eight of Wands to me is typically about sending prayers or energy out into the universe. That's what Eight of Wands is, and that energy coming back with swiftness. But what I'm seeing here is like, a lot of frolicking naked babes here on the beach. And I think that what that means to me is maybe you're putting it out there that this level of freedom is needed, that this level of joy is needed in your life, or that you want to just in general feel free. So we've got another queen coming up in this reading. This is the Queen of Pentacles now. And the Queen of Pentacles to me is about everything lining up so that what you're experiencing on the spiritual, mental, emotional plane then lands in your physical lap as well. So again, this whole thing about feeling comfortable in your environment, being in a place where you are in harmony with yourself and with your surroundings, feeling free to be yourself, that kind of thing is what's going to really draw you to be in a place of comfort. I'm feeling a lot of creature comfort energy around you right now, Gemini. A lot of creature comfort energy. It's like if my surroundings, if my home is comfortable, if I'm, happy out in nature, I don't care if you're in a hammock or whether you're in a mansion, it doesn't matter. If you feel like your environment suits you, then great, right? All right, so we've got the Judgment card. Quite a few major arcana cards here: the Fool, the Wheel, Harmony, um, and Judgment. So it's timing. Judgment for me is about timing. It's a time for things to it's a time to reap and a time to sow. It's a time to plant and a time to pluck up. Judgment to me represents timing, that kind of timing. It's when you're called. It's when you are just sitting there minding your own business, and all of a sudden it's time for you to transition to the next thing. And transitions, I'm definitely seeing again with that other card, with the coming to the edge, and the Yang card, starting over again, and finding your place of peace. I think that represents that. Um, Judgment is also associated with alignment, being aligned with what your desires are. I'm getting here that there's a 10 of chalices in your vision or in your purview. It's something that you wanted, it's something that you desired for yourself, but what I'm seeing is that you have it. Even though it's coming in reverse, I the only thing I can say about that, with everything else that's coming in with the cards, is that if you're not seeing this 10 of cups, if you're not seeing the fruits of your labor, it's simply because of your vision. It's the way you're seeing it. But it is actually there. I feel like it's something that you wanted, and it's something that you expected, and it's something that you have worked toward internally, as far as doing the mental healing and the emotional healing. I'm also seeing that with that alliance card that we saw with the medicine wheel up top. It looks like some healing has happened. So if you're not seeing that 10 of chalices experience, which is really like a land of milk and honey in this card, then it's just because you may not realize how your prayer manifested itself. So that's just a matter of you kind of being still, looking around, and say, hey, I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and this is really what I wanted deep down inside. All right, so let's see. All right. So I'm seeing some changes take place in your financial situation, Gemini. This is as a result of having to make some shifts and some adjustments in your home life or your physical life. I feel like there may have been there could be um, some people that depend on you, or there's people who need you in some kind of way, and that can have its toll. But you just have to be mindful of that, mindful of the way that you're giving. Make sure you're setting your boundaries properly, Gemini. So I'm saying that what the result is, or the end result is, you really shining, you being able to not only shine, but to relax into yourself, to relax into your empowered state. And I think that that's very positive. So good deal, Gemini. Good work. Like I said, lots of major arcana cards in this reading here. We've got an array. We've got pentacles. We've got wands. We've got chalices. So very well rounded. Very a lot of different points and areas of that this time, or that your experience has touched. But what I'm seeing overall is that it was time for this. It was time for you to come to a place of peace and harmony. It was time for the tides to change. It was time to start over. And all of that was a part of the alignment that came with the work that you've been doing, how you've been seeing yourself, settling in with, or settling yourself with who you are and how you think and how you operate, and being good with that and doing it without judgment. So looks good, sounds good, and that's it for you for the month of October. If you would like to take a deeper dive, you know where to find me. Reach out, and the information is in the description box below. As always, I hope you have a great day. You have a fantastic October, and you're having a wonderful life.